For those of you that haven't been here before, this is the annual all-staff meeting where we go through benefit changes for the year and other announcements. And then John will do an update on the state of the school. So we're going to start out with Jeff doing an overview of our healthcare plan, and then I will come up and do an overview of the rest of the benefits.
Great. And I'm just going to give you kind of a rundown. Some of you have heard this before about how our health plan is structured. And those who've heard this before, you know, we have a self-funded health plan. The self in this case is Knowles and all of us who are on the plan. So that's the self. Of the money that goes in to fund the plan, 81% comes from Knowles, 19% comes from all of us that are on the plan. That's been consistent for the last few years. There have been some years in the past where the things haven't gone as well for the plan, and then it's not okay for the plan now, but things haven't gone as well when Knowles has picked up a higher percent. And not that many years ago, it was 70% from Knowles and 30% employees. But now again, it's 81-19. That varies depending on the type of coverage you choose. Knowles picks up a higher percentage of single coverage and then a lesser percent of the family coverage. And where the money goes, if you look at it in this past year, in 2018, the year that's not done, but just estimating how it'll wind up, about 68% of everything that came in goes out to pay claims, directly to pay claims. 27% goes to buy reinsurance. So we buy insurance on the plan so that if claims exceed $60,000 for a person, the insurance would kick in and pay the difference. And that makes up about 27% of the health plan cost. One thing that's different about this insurance than a lot of insurance you might buy is we always have claims against this insurance. So like when you have a car insurance, you hopefully don't have a claim. We know we're going to have claims against this. We always have people that claims exceed $60,000. It's pretty easy to do. Some years, the claims that we've had paid have exceeded actually what we paid in premiums. Most years, they're a little bit less. And then 5% goes to our administrative costs, which is we hire Meritain. You see Meritain in your card. So there are third-party administrators. So we hire them to process all the claims. We pay fees to access the network. You know, we have the Aetna network and different networks. We have to pay fees so we can get the discounts they offer. And there's some different government fees that we pay as well. That makes up 5%. And those have been pretty consistent, although with our stop loss insurance, we see that go up and down based on our experience, and claims are always a bit of whatever happens during the year. Hey, that spur any questions on just our health plan in general and how it's structured? Great. Back to Linda.
For those of you standing outside, why don't you come in? I spent a couple hours today talking to the new HR director doing training, and my voice is getting raspy. Great. Okay. I discovered today that this is my 25th year of doing the all-staff meeting. It is also my
25 more.
It is also my last year of doing the all-staff meeting. Thank you, John, for not going first. And you usually go and then drop these key things that are in my little spiel. This year, I get to start out by saying, we're not raising premiums, and we're not raising deductibles, which is actually unheard of if anybody watches the health market out there. But we've had for the last 3 out of 4 years, we haven't raised our rates. And for 4 out of those 4 years, we haven't raised our deductibles. So our plan is doing well, which is great, and that is good news. We're continuing to offer the basic health insurance plan to employees at one rate, no matter if you work full-time or three-quarter time. We put that into effect, I think, a couple of years ago. Our health plans are considered affordable under the Affordable Health Care Act, if anybody has any interest in knowing that. The premium rates, once again, can be found on EcoWAPI. As we've done in the last number of years, we're publishing the paycheck rate, the annual rate, and Knowles' contribution to your health insurance. As in 2017, you'll see the amount paid for your health insurance on your 2018 W4 or W2. This amount right now is not a taxable amount. Whether that changes in the future is anybody's guess. You'll also receive the 1095C form at the end of January, and that's the form to let the government know that you had health insurance throughout the year. Make sure you have a current address on file with payroll, and that gets snail mailed out. Is that correct? Yep. So make sure you have your current address on file. If Knowles made you an affordable health care offer during the year and you decided not to take it in there, you will get penalized on your income tax return. And this is the last year that will happen. It's slated to go away in 2019. We can still reimburse employees who are on their spouses or domestic partners group health plan. If that's the case for you, please submit your documentation to Jesse by the end of the year or whenever you have premium changes. So there are organizations out there that run a June 1st to May 31st year, and you might see premium changes occur then. If that happens, just go ahead and submit them to Jesse. Or if you know that your spouse or domestic partner has a premium change in January, please get that to Jesse now. As a reminder, claims that are submitted more than 6 months after the date they were incurred will not be paid for by the plan. Please get online, check your and make sure that all your bills are being paid in a timely fashion. If you want to know how to get online to do it, it's in the Meritain Guide to Enrollment and Benefit booklet. This is the time of the year where you can make changes to your health insurance plan and your dental plan. So if you're on the enhanced and want to move to the basic, you can do that, or vice versa. If you elect dental for the very first time this year, you will get 2 screenings, which includes x-rays in your first year, and then the plan will kick in to have restorative work done. Script World each year updates their drug formulary in there, and so in short, every year they look at it and they may take a brand name drug off the list if it's gone into a generic format. That new updated list is on EcoWAPI. So if you're taking any medications and you want to know whether we're going to cover it for the upcoming year or not, you can take a look at that list. There are new pre-certification rules that just got issued by Meritain on the recommendation of the American Medical Association. We apparently had a very liberal plan. For most companies, it looks like less pre-certifications. Unfortunately for us, it is more pre-certifications. We opted to go ahead with their new pre-certification requirements because from my experience, if we are the one-off out of the million people that they insure, your claims will always be done wrong. And so posted on EcoWAPI now are the new certification or pre-certifications requirements in there. And there are things like certain surgeries done in an outpatient setting in there, certain diagnostic tests, MRIs, if they're not for orthopedic problems, are now required to be a pre-cert. Sleep studies are now required to be a pre-cert, and that list isn't all exhaustive. You can actually look at the pre-cert requirement on EcoWAPI. Flexible spending accounts. For those of you who don't know what that is, you can put money into a flexible spending account for either medical expenses, not premiums, but medical expenses or daycare expenses in there. What it does is it reduces your taxable income as you have a claim that comes in, for example, a medical expense. It goes to Meritain. They then look at it and say, if you checked auto rollover, oh, they have a flexible spending account, and then they will issue a check for the cost of that bill in there. Again, the purpose of it is to reduce your taxable income. The maximum medical contributions for 2019 will remain the same at $2,650, and maximum for daycare expenses or dependent care expenses are $2,500 for an individual $5,000 for a couple filing a joint income tax return. If you wish to participate in flexible spending, or if you wish to switch to enhance to basic or basic to enhance or elect dental, you must do that by December 28th. All the forms are on EcoWAPI. Thanks to Kathy Wells and Allison for getting all of those up today, which is great. So as soon as you go back to the office, you'll have current information. If you sign up for Flex and you're only on the Knowles Healthcare, i.e. you're not also on a spouse's or a partner's healthcare plan, please check auto rollover on that flexible spending. If you don't, here's what happens. You submit a claim to Meritain, they look at it, they don't see auto rollover, they go, great. You now have to submit it, and they don't let you know. You have to now submit it into your flexible spending account. So you have to do it twice. So make sure you check that auto rollover button. If anybody's having any problems with that, they can talk to Jesse. I know a few of us, including me, checked auto rollover, and they weren't doing the auto rollover. So watch that just in case they don't do it. We have copies of your forms upstairs. We can send it to them and say, you need to fix it. This person checked auto rollover. You have 90 days from December 31st to submit expenses to your flexible spending account that were incurred from January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. You can roll $500 over into the next year. If you've overestimated and you have $600 in there, you are not going to be able to roll the $600, only the $500. So you will actually lose $100, and it can't be reimbursed.
Is that in addition to the 90 days you have that rollover, or that's the limit on what you can roll over?
Yeah, 500 is the maximum amount you can roll over.
In those 90 days.
And all expenses must be incurred in calendar year 2018.
Yeah.
So it takes Meritain, because you have 90 days to roll the money over, it takes Meritain until basically April to then start to release money if you have a rollover in there. So if people are wondering why that amount isn't showing up, they're waiting for you to submit in that 90-day period. So in addition to the $500 rollover in there, you can submit the maximum amount if you want, $2,650 for 2019. Any questions on that?
And then to make sure you're staying there, right? So the 500 rollover would apply to claims for the next year, for 19.
Correct.
The
That
method
is
rolls over.
correct.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. I must have missed you, John. What you
Still
were
not
saying.
sure I got that.
Okay.
So it does apply. So you roll the 500 over in there. You can still elect 2650. If you have no more claims that you submit for 2018, then you've got the 31, if I did the math right, 3150 available for claims for 2019.
Oh, I got it.
Our health plans are not HSA compatible. That's a health savings account, but you can do the flex accounts through Knowles. Vision and life insurance rates will remain the same unless on the life insurance you change an age bracket in there, and then you'll see your life insurance amount increase. Employees will be automatically enrolled on whatever plan they're enrolled in right now if you do nothing. So if you want to stay on enhanced, you want to stay on basic, you want to keep your dental, all of that you can do, and you don't need to do anything. Flexible spending accounts are the only ones that you must do something with unless you're changing the plan. So you have to re-elect your flex every year. There are certain mandatory notices we're required to give out during open enrollment. Those are summary of benefit coverages, children's health insurance program, women's health and cancer notice, and the HIPAA notice of special enrollment rights. Those are all under all in EcoWAPI under the benefit section of HR. For retirement, if you're eligible for the Knowles contribution to the retirement plan, you need to open an account, and you need to, with one of the plan sponsors, which is on our list, which is on EcoWAPI, and make $100 payroll deposit or make a deposit through payroll of $100 by the end of the year. All those people that were eligible for the Knowles contribution that had not made a deposit were notified on October 15th. So if you're one of those people and you want the Knowles contribution, then you need to pick a plan sponsor and sign up for a payroll deposit of $100. The government increased the maximum contribution for our TSAs, 403Bs, basically the retirement accounts for 2019. You can put a maximum of $19,000 into your TSA. The catch-up for people over the age of 50 remains at $6,000. For IRA, if anybody's doing IRAs, Roths, or regular IRAs, the government also increased the contribution amount this year by $500. So the maximum contribution to an IRA is $6,000. If you're over the age of 50, you can contribute an extra $1,000. Other announcements. Well, first of all, does anybody have any questions about any of that? Teresa?
For our insurance that insures us, do we still have squeezed in deadline for anything that you have done by December 31st? We've got to submit it really quick so we don't have a delay time that the second insurance will pick up our overage.
I think we're sitting at a point this year that we're not going to hit a maximum. And then when the organization, so Teresa's question was, is there a rush to get your claims in? In years where we look like we were going to hit the maximum amount that Knowles would pay, we made an announcement, get your claims in now because the reinsurance company's paying everything and it's not coming out of our pockets. That amount is super high these days, and we are highly unlikely to hit that amount. It's great, though, to check your claims at the end of the year and move them along, but it's not a big rush.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Other announcements. Verizon is offering an 18% employee discount on cell phone plans. There's a flyer on how to register for that if you have Verizon as your cell carrier, and it's on EcoWAPI already. Read it carefully. There are exclusions to it, but you can basically get an 18% discount. Pay increases. Any pay increases awarded will go into effect December 24th for hourly employees and December 31st for salaried employees. The changes for both hourly and salary will be on the January 11th payroll run. And just as a reminder, your supervisor must have an evaluation of anyone they supervise on file in HR before payroll or pay increases will be released. Okay, so you're going to want to get those done before the end of the year. If you have questions regarding benefits or any concerns with health insurance claims, please contact Jesse. And then the backup on that would be Kathy Wells. If Jesse's not around, Kathy can help you with some of the claim problems. Conflicts of interest or disclaimers. Disclaimer, if you have any conflicts of interest since the last time you filled out the form, please go to EcoWAPI, refill out the form again, and send it into HR. Usually that's where I see conflicts, potential conflicts of interest would be people accepting positions on boards in there. If you're using your Knowles title while you serve on the board, you must have that approved. So again, if anybody has any conflicts, please fill out a new form. This year, Christmas falls on a Tuesday, so we are going to close the school on Monday. So the school will be closed Monday and Tuesday of Christmas week. PTO will be automatically deducted for those days unless you have permission to work from your supervisor or you're at a location where you need to be working. Because it's a really short it's also a payroll week. The week of the 24th is a payroll week, which makes it super tight for payroll. because Monday and Tuesday's off, they get in Wednesday and need to process the entire payroll run. So because of that, employees need to submit, or salaried employees need to submit all PTO they intend to take off during Christmas week to payroll by December 20th. And then all time cards for hourly employees must be submitted and approved by your supervisor by the end of the day on Friday, the 21st. So supervisors, please keep after your employees for that. So payroll has them all when they come into the office at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. The holiday party is December 15th. If you have not responded, Kathy is here and she will be happy to take your reservation for the holiday party. I need to let the caterer know the head count by Friday. So you need RSVP by this Friday. You're welcome to attend after that, but you need to be in the back of the line, and if there's extra food, you're welcome to eat. So please RSVP. And for people in the room here in Lander, please let Kathy know whether you're coming or you're not. Great. Any questions?
Linda, you mentioned a couple times people can talk to Jesse about benefits. Could you clarify who Jesse is?
Oh, yeah, Jesse Farringer, right here. For people who don't know Jesse. Thank you. That was great. Other questions? Okay, I have a challenge for you all to see how well you were listening, and I have a prize. And I am sorry to the people that are not sitting in the room. Yeah, sorry. Anyway. Okay. What is the last date you have to submit any benefit changes to HR? Go.
December 29th.
Wrong. So Mary Jane said swag. These are a bunch of chapstick and one first aid kit. Okay, before I turn it over to John Gans, John, did I miss anything? Because you usually pick up on something I missed.
You didn't. You didn't miss this, but maybe omission it's worth clarifying. Well, Christmas Eve, we are closing the office. New Year's Eve, because it can be a big giving day for us in development, the office will be open. That isn't saying you can't take it as a day off if that works with your supervisor. But Christmas Eve is a closed office day. New Year's Eve is an open office day. Sorry.
25 years of practice and I still miss something.
Well, it was clear.
Thank you, Linda.
This podium is just the right height for Linda. But you know, I can barely read at that distance. Thanks for being here. I'll make another plug because we're going to do something a little interactive here, I think, for you to grab a seat, and there's a whole row of them because this won't work if you're out there. So come on in if you can. And you can step forward. You won't interrupt anything. There's seats up here and over here and over here. Why do I feel this podium so far away? Am I messing you up on that camera?
That's all right. I got this.
Okay. We are live streaming this. I'm not sure if we mentioned that at the start or not, and connecting in at a number of our locations in various places. So welcome to all of you. And I want to do a little bit of a rundown on the state of school and involve you in that a bit. I'm not going to go real thorough here. What's getting to be kind of the common theme is you do a rundown. There are some things that are doing really well, and there are other things that aren't doing so well. And so you always send this sort of mixed picture. And our last year that we went through was indeed a great example of that. If we get enough of the things that are going well to exceed the things that aren't going as well, we end up with a good year, which we had. And this year that we're in the process of has its similarities. Our fall went out the gate on expedition enrollment really pretty decent. We exceeded our goals. Right now, spring for expedition enrollment doesn't look good at all and has a lot of weakness. Wilderness medicine enrollment is showing real signs of strength, and custom ed depends upon the week you ask the question. And that some weeks it looks real good, and then the next week you have some large client that you've got some concerns about for one reason or another. So we come to this point of the year, and it's a work in progress, and that requires work of all of us. And last year we did that and led to success and led to a gain share year. And I want to thank all of you for making that happen. And thank also the people that were working in areas that weren't exceeding performance, because it still kept us in the hunt. A few other things I would point out. I don't know if we had an official celebration or not from development, but we hit the halfway point of our Step Forward campaign, our $30 million campaign. We've hit 15 million. That's great. Also, thanks to all of you who are involved in Giving Tuesday, both at Knowles and for any other nonprofit and philanthropic cause that you're passionate about. It's noteworthy that right now we're significantly, where's Cindy? She would give me a number. You see here, Cindy Carey, significantly ahead on our annual fund. I can't give you the number, but it's like $100,000 ahead. Is anyone here that knows the number? 150,000 ahead. So that's great news. And also one of those pictures that for the year we're in, we got work to do. We got things that aren't going as well as we'd like, and other things that are going very well. So long and short of it, that's great news. It's also great news what's happening with health insurance, both for all of you and all of us, but also for the school, because no premium increase, since Knowles pays the majority, like 68% of the premiums, 81% of the premiums. I should know by now. Since most of that is Knowles cost, when we have a zero increase year, wow, does that help us out? And so that's a real plus. And so that's exciting. I do want to point out in all these benefits, and I know some of you aren't yet of an age that you're maybe even on our insurance policy, or some of you might be part-time staff. But for those of you that are eligible and are on it, or are close to that age where you'll come on it, make sure you take advantage of these benefits. The school puts a huge portion of resources into it, whether it's retirement, health insurance, administering flex, and other things. And it's a benefit there for you. And if there's something that isn't clear, do ask the question so you can fully benefit from that and take advantage of it, because we want you all to be beneficiaries of that. It doesn't pay to have these things if you aren't. So that's what goes on there. So the campaign over the halfway point, of course, at the same time that the endowment hit a record last year, the stock market drops. How much did we lose from our endowment in 1 month?
$3 million.
$3 million. That's not good. But we have only so much control over certain things like that. And so there's always the ups and the downs, but we've managed to navigate those pretty well. And one of the things that's made navigating those so key is the work that all of you do. So I want you to take a few minutes here, and you can do this in a group of 2, 3, 4, not overly rule bound on this, but you have to participate. And I realize not all of you were here in the last fiscal year or received a gain share check. But even if, I want you to share in that group of 2 or 3 with other people. Introduce yourself first, where you work. And then I want you to share a couple of things you did in your job last year, either that made a difference programmatically, therefore ensuring the success of the school, or financially that made a difference. because all of those, sum total of all those are what made our gain share happen this year. And I realized we never got around to a staff meeting when we did that gain share. So I want you, and if you're out there in the Wizard of Oz land, you can do that with whoever's on this phone call or streaming or online at this point. Take some time, get together with a group, meet someone you haven't met if it's someone new, and share like 2 or 3 of those. And we will take like 5 minutes to do it. So don't make them long term papers, okay? It's yours. Thank you for all those wonderful contributions. How about if we take a few minutes to share a half a dozen of these, only you aren't going to share your own if you so choose to come up. And it'd be nice to get closer to the microphone so people can hear you. So if you're comfortable coming forward, you could do that. I will call on you so there is some organization. And you should introduce yourself, where you work, identify the person whose contribution you learned about and what they do, and then share what that contribution is. So this isn't share your own, not to take away from all of you. I hope have great pride in what you've done to help our mission and our students, but this is to share someone else's. So anyone so want to do that? We have at least a few extroverts in here, and you don't have to be next to. Yeah, all right, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm the art director for Knowles. I was talking to Claire over here, who's our PR intern. And this past year, she made the contribution of not only helping our department and our video producer, Kirk, with making all his films, but also going over to the Rocky Mountain branch and helping with gear and fixing all the tents and all the stoves for students. And I'm sure that came in handy for all his courses. So yeah, that's great.
Someone else? Teresa.
How long do we have?
There is a limit. I just won't tell you what it is. See if you'll get there.
Podium's the right size. I'm Teresa Fetter. I work at finance, and it was Molly and Steph. Steph is in the finance department, and she makes sure that all the students pay their bills, and when they get late, she'll ask them to send in their money. So that's always a big bonus. Molly, she was one of our instructors for some of our courses, correct? Do I remember? Okay. And as far as I'm concerned, our instructors are our backbones. They're our strength, and if they do not produce good courses, we do not have repeat customers. So, thank you.
You're being nominated. You just were. It was just a hand motion.
Yeah.
You do that, you know where you end up. Is that a hand up, Logan?
No, I'm Logan. I work at Expedition Admissions. I was standing here next to Amy Mouse. We just moved over to enroll in alumni, where she's planning a lot of the alumni events. And that brings a lot to Knowles because we're making also impressions to people who already had great impressions by doing a Knowles course and want to stay involved. So she's organizing events, which eventually hopefully bring some money back into Knowles through donations. Anyways.
Cool. Waiting for anyone to flinch. Oh, we've got it, Anne. You want to come up here since there's a little channel there you can get through, maybe, or just loud, one of the two.
I felt like Kyle Abrams should be recognized because
contribution that he just shared with us. He and Nate Radstetter. They both did an audit of wilderness medicine courses and tuition payments over the past year and found $30,000 in tuition that students had not paid, and then spent a whole bunch of time calling those students and got all of it except for like $50.
Wow.
And then after that, they went and plugged the holes to prevent that from happening again.
Well, there's a very engaged group here. One of you must have something to share. No. Yes, Erica.
Hi, I'm Erica Hathaway. I'll be at the podium next year when Linda isn't here with us anymore, year one. I had the chance to talk to Shannon, who works with our research groups going out, and she mentioned that one big aspect of research is it allows us to fulfill our goal and mission to be the leader in outdoor education and helps give us a direction to our goals. And I think that's one of the most important things on that foundational level to give everybody that's working there out there in the field and in town an area to move from.
Okay, one more. Come on, there's someone else.
Hey, Lindsay Knoll, she
Oh,
just
all right.
chatted in. The Southwest recently bought a Toyota Prius town vehicle that will save us approximately $6,000 on gas for the lifespan of the use.
Wow. All right. One more out there or here?
I'll talk about Suresh. We spent the last year rolling out the new payment system for Knowles, which I think saved us about $600,000 a year. $400,000 or $500,000 a year in credit card fees that we were paying and now no longer are.
The day it rolled out, Visa stock dropped 5%. It's amazing how Knowles can move markets, and Suresh did it. It's wonderful. Well, I know I said that's it, but is there anyone else that would love to share? Otherwise, we will move on. Okay. One thing I want to give a bit of an update on, I didn't even prompt him in advance, but I'll let you figure it out. And some of you know about this already, but we're in the process. We've already started moving into another building in terms of warehousing, but we're also going to be moving some offices in there. And I thought I'd bring up Jeff to just give a little bit of an update. And I know we only know so much at this point, but just if people are wondering what's going on.
Great. All right, so we're talking about this is the Sweetwater. I know you know which direction I'm pointing now, but this way, down this way, the Sweetwater, what was formerly the Sweetwater Air Building is now the Knowles Building. So we're going to have two major functions in that. One in the left side of the building, as you look at the front, that has the rounded roof. That will be our new distribution center. The purchasing department is moving there. Wilderness medicine, shipping, and receiving will be moving there. So it already has a big bunch of sleeping bags, a bunch of new lamina from Mountain Hardware sleeping bags they made just for us, but we had to buy a lot of, so they're storing it there. So that move will happen by the end of the year. So they're kind of working that way now. It's also actually full of a bunch of boxes of shelving that will need to be put together at some point in time. So that will be happening then, but that will be again where like the Patagonia container will be coming in and out of that space. Those kind of things will be happening with that. All the wilderness medicine, all the gear kits that are assembled, put back together and shipped out. All that will be happening then instead of going up and down the elevator multiple times of a day with the genuine loading dock. So that's what's happening there. The other side, the plan for the other side is to move custom education and the operations department there. So we're now engaged with an architect and trying to lay out the space to see what that might look like. So we're kind of early in that process to see. So we hope we might be able to build sometime later this willing to build out the space to make that work. But that'll be the next space will happen there. Any questions? Great, thanks.
Great.
Does that building have a name or is it a naming opportunity?
It needs something better than distribution center, I guess, and or the Sweetwater building.
Sure,
It's funny you raise that because I was gonna make a comment about the fact that we hold on to many of our names, like the Lumberyard, which we held on to a long, long time, or the Noble, or whatever. And Sweetwater Air just is a bit cumbersome, but you know, I don't know if it goes to Sweet Air or Sweetwater or if there's something else, but I think we should have a contest. Yeah, it could be Helms. I don't want to be an auto dealer, nor a gas station. Yeah, I know. There's value in history, is there not? Any other general questions or updates? Otherwise, I have one thing that I'll go through, but anything else before that or something we're not updating on, but we should? I realize we aren't covering the whole works. Okay. Well, Linda mentioned the holiday party, and I just want to wish, I know many of you will travel in that time, and I just want to wish you all a great holiday season and wonderful time with those you care about and things you care about. And I just want to really thank you for everything you've done for Knowles and for all your achievements to make last year happen, all the service you do to our students and staff. So that time around here, around Christmas, New Year's, it picks up immediately after, but it's actually a little quiet around here there for a couple of weeks, and we will soon be in it. And it's the only days of the year where we have some staff seminars and stuff, but there's a couple of days in there where we actually do not have students in classroom or field courses. Not many, but there's a few. So I want to close with some news that I recently informed the Board of Trustees of my intent to retire from this position. And I believe it's a great time for the school and for myself. I remain committed to staying here through the search process and also for a period of time after that, but a short period of time. But then we'll generally retire a month or so after a new president is hired. You know, I started work for Knowles in 1981. By the time I retire, I have a hard time saying that word because this sounds old. But so be it. But I'll have dedicated 39 years to Knowles and our students. In 1995, over 23 years ago, I started as president, executive director at the time. And Paul Petzold leaned over to me and said, "It was now my time to carry the heavy pack." And I've served as president since. I was nervous before coming up here, and I've done this enough that I'm not generally too nervous speaking. But, you know, I'm exceedingly proud of what we've accomplished together. Over these 23 years, and most importantly, educating over 320,000 students during that time. Remarkable, you know, all around the world. And we've made a world a better place. We've made so many people better people, and we've achieved and exceeded our mission and our goal. It's been the highest honor to serve as the 5th leader of this remarkable organization. It's been gratifying and extraordinarily satisfying to work with all of you and so many dedicated staff, volunteers, and trustees who've made the magic happen. And I just can't thank you enough. You know, I can't sufficiently express that gratitude, whether it's former staff, trustees, donors, alumni, so many of the people, the advisory council, so many of the people who've given of themselves and continue to give of themselves to our students and our mission. It's been a gift to learn from you and share this time together. You know, while our educational outcomes are clearly the most important, it is noteworthy that Knowles has become a stronger organization over this time. And like our campsites, I will leave it in better shape than I found it. I believe that announcing this news now best provides the board the necessary time to thoughtfully choose our next leader. And indeed, our trustees, they already know about this. This is not being sprung live. They've already taken a few initial steps to commence a global search for the next president. Greg Avis, the current vice chair of the board and the chair of the governance committee, will be leading this process. I realize many of you know Greg. Mark Randolph, meanwhile, will continue as chair of the Knowles board, because while this is going on, we have a school to run, right? So there's all this other stuff that we need to make sure and take care of, just as we've been doing it. So by having that dual structure, it puts us in a great place for both of them to concentrate on one part of it. Greg, for those of you that don't know this, and many of you may, but he has been in the position of going through a number of president and executive director transitions. As head of Williams College, he's just involved sort of in a different sort of way with the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, but both with educational institutions and with other significant nonprofits. So he's been down this path before. He is an ideal person to lead it. So Greg and the Board of Trustees will form a presidential search committee in December, or hopefully by the end of December, made up of trustees and other members of the Knowles community. They will also likely enlist the support of a search committee. For those of you not familiar, those are organizations that they just concentrate on going into, whether for-profit or nonprofits, and searching for a certain, whether it's a leader or a certain position. And they have expertise in that area, and they can take a lot of the administrative burden, and they also can churn names and advertise extensively. So likely they'll use a search firm. The committee will determine the timing, the scope, and the process as the school endeavors to find our next global leader and president. There will be opportunities for input from staff and faculty. In fact, not only opportunities, it's essential you are involved in that process as this person's the leader of this community. Once again, I'm committed to being here through the search process, and in ways, let's not get dramatic. That's going to be potentially a year. So, like, you'll be sick of me by that time, because you aren't already. You know, the coming years will be a time of change for Knowles, our world, and for educational institutions. We need to continue leading the way with programs that best meet the needs of our future students and our world. We know there are considerable challenges, and they will demand an ambitious agenda and plan from all of us. In coming months, my mouth is dry. In coming months, there will be more opportunities to say thank you and say goodbye. And again, this is going to be a while yet. But contemplating this decision has reminded me of one of my dilemmas from somewhere around being a 10-year-old boy. And I vividly remember trying to integrate, at that time, early religion classes with my passion for science. I remember digging through the Encyclopedia Britannica. I realize a lot of you don't know what that is, but the Encyclopedia Britannica in the anatomy section, thank you, and and trying to find the location of the soul, I didn't have any luck. And having no success, I queried my teachers, but was given generally inadequate answers that didn't help me solve the mystery. In the process, going against religious teachings, I decided that a soul was something you weren't born with, but something that must be formed, fed, built, and grown. Through work and effort, study and love, community and heartbreak, failure and success, family and friends, passion and peace, we form that soul. I'm so lucky that Knowles and all of you have given me place to build and form. Sorry, I wasn't going to do this, but to build and form my soul, a place to center a very rich work life. I can't thank you enough. So that's about it, but there's always a cell phone that saves. And hopefully along the way, while you've given me that opportunity, I've helped feed, nourish, and build the heart and soul of Knowles.
I think that's the end of the all-staff meeting. I have no clue what we're supposed to do with the dining room. Does anybody have a clue? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna just help out and kind of move everything back to where it's originally supposed to be. So if anybody wants to stick around and help out, that would be fantastic.
Great. If you want to give a hand, that would be super. If you have an RSVP for the holiday party, Kathy Wells has her hand up back there. Please RSVP with her and have a great evening.
I'll send an email or two.